Imagine stepping onto a bridge and never reaching the other side. A place that should simply connect 2 points, yet somehow swallows people whole. Locals avoid it, travelers fear it, and one chilling night on Phantom Bridge proved why. Because someone vanished in plain sight, leaving behind nothing but questions. Phantom Bridge is not just an ordinary crossing. By day, it looks like any other old structure, weathered concrete, iron rails rusting at the edges, and a road that seems too narrow for the silence it carries. But at night, the bridge changes. Locals say the air feels heavier there, colder, as if you're being watched by something unseen. Travelers have reported that their headlights dim when they drive across, and some even claim that their phones or radios cut off the moment they step foot on it. The bridge itself is surrounded by thick trees, making it even darker once the sun sets. Fog often rolls in from the nearby river, covering the bridge in a pale curtain where visibility drops to almost nothing. That fog is one of the reasons people call it Phantom Bridge, because sometimes from a distance it looks like the bridge disappears into nothingness. Over the years, it gained a reputation that no one could shake. Elders warn the younger generation not to linger there after dark. Even during the day, some avoid it altogether, choosing longer routes instead of crossing its shadow. For them, Phantom Bridge isn't just a road. It's a place where time and reality feel unstable. And it's within this unsettling setting that the infamous disappearance took place. It was a quiet night when the disappearance happened. The kind of night where the roads are empty, the only sound is the river flowing below, and the bridge stands still under a pale moonlight. The person who vanished, let's call him Daniel, wasn't doing anything unusual. He wasn't lost, he wasn't looking for trouble. He was simply walking home, and Phantom Bridge was the fastest way across. The last time anyone saw him, he was at the edge of town, heading toward the bridge. A neighbor recalled hearing his footsteps on the wooden planks that lead onto it. Another said they saw the dim glow of his flashlight moving slowly across the span. But then, silence. No scream, no splash, no sign of struggle. Just silence. The strange thing is, Daniel never made it to the other side. His family waited, assuming he was late. Friends checked nearby houses, thinking maybe he stopped to talk. But as the hours passed, concern turned into panic. When people searched the bridge that very night, they found nothing. No footprints in the dust, no belongings dropped on the ground, not even a broken piece of railing to suggest he fell into the river. It was as if he had simply walked into the fog and vanished into thin air. What makes it even more haunting is the time. Some say it happened close to midnight, the so-called thin hour, when strange things are said to cross over into our world. To this day, no one knows if Daniel ever made it halfway across, or if Phantom Bridge claimed him the moment he stepped on it. When Daniel vanished, the bridge didn't stay quiet. People came forward with stories of what they saw, and though each account was different, all of them added to the mystery. One man who lived near the river swore he heard footsteps on the bridge long after Daniel was supposed to have crossed. He described the sound as steady at first, then suddenly stopping, as if someone had frozen in place or simply disappeared mid-step. Another woman claimed she saw a faint light moving across the bridge that night, but she insists it wasn't a flashlight. She said it was more like a flickering glow, the size of a lantern, that hovered for a moment before vanishing into the fog. A group of teenagers also admitted they were hanging out nearby that night, and their story was even stranger. They said they heard a low hum, almost like the vibration of metal, followed by a cold wind that swept across the bridge. When they looked up, they didn't see Daniel at all, just the bridge, empty, under the moonlight. Of course, not every witness was believed. Some were accused of letting their imagination run wild, and others stayed silent, too afraid of being mocked. But what stands out is that nearly everyone agreed on one thing. The night Daniel disappeared, Phantom Bridge felt wrong, unnaturally quiet, unnaturally cold, as if something beyond the ordinary had taken place. The morning after Daniel died, Daniel's disappearance may be the most infamous story tied to Phantom Bridge, but it wasn't the only one. Long before that night, the bridge already carried a dark reputation. Older residents recall accidents that didn't make sense, cars suddenly veering off the road with no skid marks, as if the drivers had been pulled toward the edge. In one case, a truck was found crashed at the base of the bridge, but the driver was missing. To this day, his body has never been recovered. There are also whispers of smaller, stranger incidents. A cyclist who vanished mid-ride, his bicycle later found leaning neatly against the railing. A fisherman who often sat up by the river claimed he once saw a shadowy figure pacing the bridge in the early hours of the morning, but when he called out, the figure dissolved into the fog. Even travelers just passing through have reported unsettling experiences. Some said their car engines stalled as soon as they reached the middle. Others described sudden waves of dizziness, as if the ground beneath them wasn't stable. And a few admitted that while driving at night, they saw someone standing on the bridge, only to realize in horror that no one was there when they looked again. These incidents don't come with neat explanations. They pile up like fragments of a puzzle that doesn't quite fit. And together, they raise an unsettling question. Was Daniel's disappearance just one tragedy? Or was it the bridge itself, something about this place, that has been claiming people for years? When a mystery refuses to give answers, theories are all that remain, and Phantom Bridge has more than a few. The first and most common belief among locals is that the bridge is cursed. They say it was built on land where something terrible once happened, an unmarked grave, a battle, or maybe a tragedy that stained the ground beneath. According to this theory, the bridge doesn't just connect two sides of the river. It opens a doorway to something else, a place where people can step in but never step out. Others believe Daniel, and those before him, were taken by something supernatural. Ghostly figures, wandering spirits, or even a kind of phantom guardian said to haunt the bridge. Witnesses who reported strange lights or shadows often lean toward this explanation, convinced that Phantom Bridge isn't just haunted, it's alive. But then there are the rational theories, the ones investigators prefer. Some argue Daniel may have slipped into the river unnoticed, his body swept away by currents stronger than people realized. Others suggest human foul play, that maybe he was attacked, and whoever did it knew how to cover their tracks. But even these ideas don't explain the lack of evidence. No body, no signs of struggle, nothing. A few skeptics say it's all exaggerated, an urban legend that grows bigger every time it's told. Maybe Daniel simply left town and wanted to disappear, and the bridge just became the perfect backdrop for the story. Yet the more you listen to these theories, the more you realize none of them fully explain what happened. If it was an accident, why no trace? If it was a crime, why no clues? And if it was just a legend, why do so many unrelated people report the same strange experiences on that bridge? Today, Phantom Bridge still stands, but it's more than just a crossing. It's a reminder of unanswered questions. To some, it's just an old road that's part of their daily routine. They cross it without looking back, though often with a little unease, especially when night falls. To others, it's a place to avoid at all costs. Some locals still take longer routes, just to escape the eerie feeling that hangs over it. Teenagers sometimes dare each other to walk across at midnight, treating it like a test of bravery. A few have claimed they felt a sudden chill or heard whispers on the wind, while others laugh it off as imagination. But even the ones who joke about it admit that something about the bridge doesn't feel normal. Tourists and paranormal enthusiasts occasionally visit, drawn by the story of Daniel's disappearance and the legends that surround the bridge. They take photos, record videos, and some even bring equipment hoping to capture signs of the supernatural. Most leave with nothing but goosebumps, though a few say they walked away with far more questions than answers. Despite the years that have passed, the bridge hasn't lost its reputation. It's become a symbol of mystery in the region, a place where the ordinary world seems to twist, if only for a moment. Whether it's cursed, haunted, or simply carrying the weight of rumor, Phantom Bridge remains a spot where reality feels fragile. And standing there today, especially alone at night, it's hard not to wonder if the bridge is waiting for its next story. And so the question remains, what really happened on Phantom Bridge? Was Daniel taken by the river, lost to an accident no one could witness? Was he the victim of a crime too perfectly hidden? Or did something unexplainable reach out from the fog that night and claim him, the way so many believe it has claimed others before? Decades later, the bridge still holds its silence. No new evidence, no clear answers, just the same chill that lingers in the air whenever someone dares to cross. Perhaps the most unsettling part of all is this. Bridges are supposed to lead us somewhere. Yet Phantom Bridge seems to lead only to questions. Maybe the truth will never be uncovered. Or maybe the truth is something we're not ready to face. What do you think happened that night? Was Phantom Bridge hiding a dark secret? Or is it just an ordinary place wrapped in fear and legend? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if stories like this fascinate you, don't forget to subscribe for more chilling mysteries that still remain unsolved. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next one. Bye for now.